um, case that I sent you a couple of days ago, and I'll try to limit myself to things that you haven't possibly highlighted yet, and so that we will have a variety of meaningful contributions to illuminate the case study in a way that is helpful for us in light of our objectives. First of all, I want to say Jane is a 50-year-old woman. Dawn is in her early 50s herself. So it appears that they were able to connect really well. And what I wish to highlight here is the importance of gender in pastoral care and the dynamics between caregiver and care receiver. And also the fact that here, to use a Freudian helpful concept, transference and counter-transference was facilitated. In other words, the fact that they could connect with each other the way they did and communicate silently and verbally and otherwise. Also, the way it is indicated in the case study. So that's the first observation I want to make. It doesn't mean that we men are at a disadvantage in situations where the care receiver is a woman, but it does imply that we better be careful in including gender as a factor in all caregiving situations, and in particular in counseling situations. A second thing I want to underscore here is the fact that Dawn, our colleague Dawn, as a pastor caregiver, did two important things from the beginning. One was to wait until the right time to approach Jane. So there was a question of timing. She was aware that the resources were available for Jane. At the same time, she remained alert to signs that would indicate that taking some initiative would be appropriate or even necessary. So timing is another principle here. And together with that, intuition. If you have your paper with you with the case, notice, however, she says, Dawn, that is, after a series of encounters through which Jane and I crossed paths, I felt moved to express my care as well as my thanks to her for her contributions, etc., etc. So here is another important principle, friends, the principle I would call of welcoming one's own intuitions, the sense of opportunity. And that comes with being in touch with reality, frankly, oneself, being open to other folks we serve, and most importantly, I should add, being alert to the promptings of the Spirit of God as a partner in this process. So there is a time to take initiative, to draw near someone like Jane, and that happened here. So then we have the references to visits and so forth. Jane was barely functioning, desperate for relief, we are told. So she had a crippling mental health condition, emotional distress, um, diagnosed mental illness that always, always, without exception, affects the spirit, affects our spirituality, both in terms of the inner experience um, of our spirituality and the outward expressions that can be noticed. And eventually, among the treatments that Jane received was ECT. Um, you may have looked that up already, but this is electroconvulsive therapy, which is a psychiatric procedure consisting of passing currents of electricity through the brain in order to trigger brief seizures. Hence the word convulsive there. And this is a treatment credited with causing certain changes in the chemistry of the brain that can reverse symptoms of some mental illness. And it's tried when some other, for example, medicine it have not worked. And it appears that in this situation, in Jane's case, it did help. The worst appears to be over, we're told. Now, some other observations about the caregiver here. I really appreciate the fact that Dawn acted. This situation actually continues, keeps acting as if she, that is Dawn, as if she were hopeful, hope-filled. She never treated Jane as hopeless. That's the kind of thing that Jane was actually experiencing. So that is so important. And she didn't have to say much. In fact, it's better not to say much at all. Under these circumstances, she was present and she addressed Jane again and again as someone who has hope. And hope, my friends, mobilizes love, active love, as in active listening, actively being there with and for the care receiver. When we discussed this case, I made observation that I could visualize Dawn as being like a parakletos, like the Spirit, just like the Spirit of God accompanies us in our journeys, whether we notice that or not, whether we acknowledge and are grateful for that or not. Good caregiving in a situation like this, and actually in all situations, is a form of paracleting, we might say, of walking alongside. I would even say this is like putting one's life, one's body, for the other, for the neighbor, for the sister, rather in this case. There is something vicarious that one does as a caregiver for people who are experiencing a dark valley in life in this way. So we might say that Dawn engaged in a praxis of hope, and the the evidence we have that this was exactly what Jane needed is that Jane kept inviting the pastor, Don, back, uh, and they could spend time together, often in silence. Uh, to be with somebody for 30 minutes silence is not easy. I'm reminded of the story of Job in the Bible. The three friends stay with Job for a whole week without saying a word. They were doing just great, uh, being witnesses. By the way, this is a concept I wanted to include here. The art of witnessing, not just witnesses as in telling somebody about something, a good news, that has its place as well. But witnessing as being there and beholding the mystery, the unfolding mystery, drama of somebody else's life, couple's life, or family life, or congregations life. Friends, that's a very important concept. We ought to be good witnesses this way. So she was able to do that. By the way, the Job's friends, after this, after a week, they couldn't take it any longer and started playing psychotherapy. And we know that it didn't go that well. So just remaining present, accompanying is what is needed, and that's what Job needed. And then the situation was can be complicated or worsen. So I hope you found this case study helpful. I wanted to highlight a few things that bring additional principles understood as dependable guides to practice. And I look forward to further interaction with you in this way and also via our electronic communication.